Hi, I'm Mike Messier. Welcome to Messier Mantra. On this episode, we have a great guest. His name is Chris Costa. Chris, how you doing today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Good, man. Nice to meet you.
You too.
We've actually met before at Rodywood Studios, the Brooklyn Coffee and Tea House. And
yep.
I'm familiar with your work, man. It's very funny.
Oh, thank you.
Right now, we're going to take a look at a clip of one of your works. It's called Fly Hard. So let's check it out.
I'm gonna be the best pilot ever.
How you gonna be a pilot, man, when you're scared of heights?
But what's the obsession with flying?
My mom told me my dad was a pilot, and ever since he left, I just told myself I wanted to be a pilot.
I'm gonna help you overcome your fear of heights, and I'm gonna teach you how to fly.
Why is that glass? Why are you lighting that?
Prepare for impact! Get up through the sunroof. You have to understand how the wind's gonna affect you when you jump.
What? Okay, so now we fly?
Now we fly.
Yes!
I'm back. My guest is back. We're all back. Chris, welcome back. Another handshake. And Chris Costa. So let's talk about Fly Hard a little bit.
Okay.
How did this idea come to fruition? You worked with Brandon Allen, and how did you guys collaborate on this piece?
Oh, well, basically, Brandon came to me with the script. We had already established a relationship together. We work really well together, and for a few years before that, he came to me with this script, and it just spoke to me like, you know, it was our first script that had character development. It was our first script that kind of was family friendly in a way. You know, we had a short film come out in between the making of Fly Hard because we filmed over the course of 2 summers. And that was also family friendly, but this was the first script that was kind of broad for everybody. So I just really liked the idea. I liked the character that he built, and I just wanted to pursue it. And the whole flying thing, it seemed kind of out of reach, but I like that. I like to challenge myself. I like taking on, you know, these big projects and seeing what we can do with it.
No, I think I saw in that clip, was there a POV from the pilot's point of view? Did you guys actually use a real airplane, or was that a green screen, or how did you do that?
Yeah, we actually, a combination of both. We went up in a real airplane. I sat in the back seat and got some over-the-shoulder shots to kind of mix in to really sell it. And then all the dialogue scene that you see in the plane was shot on a green screen, you know, so we didn't have the engine running. We could pick up clean audio and, you know, get better takes. And we had about an hour of airtime and a couple hours on the ground. Fortunately, they were really nice. It's very cheap, very affordable for us. Everything we do is funded out of pocket, so we couldn't afford to get a big high-end plane. So we got this little, it looked like it was from the 50s. It was a little scary, a little nerve-wracking going up, but it was fun. It was a good time. I'm
very impressed that you guys went through the effort, the finances, and the reaching out to, what would you call it, like a private plane company or something?
Yeah, they're actually a flight school. It's a small flight school in Smithfield, Rhode Island. Okay. And yeah, they specialize in the smaller, like two to 4 person planes, like kind of biplanes almost.
I think it's very impressive that you guys, you know, approached this company and somehow worked it out to do that.
Yeah, you know, I'm a big believer, and I know you brought it up at the Rodywood last time. If you have an idea, just ask. You'll be surprised at what can happen if you just ask the right people. A lot of people are willing to help you out, and you can accomplish a lot more than you thought you would if you just go for it.
It's a great attitude, Chris. And what inspired you to get involved in film and making your own stuff? Was it the group of people you were hanging out with? Was it a film in particular that you saw, or was it an experience you had?
I mean, I've always been into filmmaking. As a kid, I was always curious about, you know, what went on behind the scenes, how they made it, you know, how it all came together. But I think it was really, I'm a skateboarder. I've always been a skateboarder. So originally I got a camera to just film me and my friends skating and doing, you know, stupid stuff. And yeah, I was always the one with the camera, so I was always the one behind filming everybody, and I started to pick up on it, and I really enjoyed it, and then that turned into more of, I want to get into storytelling and filmmaking. And you know, I try to do as much as I can. I do a little action sports, I do filmmaking, I do commercial work, but I'd say filmmaking is my real passion. That's really where I want to pursue. but it's also the hardest industry to get into,
Oh
probably.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned the skateboarding. I didn't know that about you until just now, but there have been some successful extreme sports and skateboarding movies, haven't there?
Oh yeah, yeah. This company, Brain Farm, they make really good stuff. It's really high quality cinematic. They've been changing the game in the action sports industry. You know, what they shoot is not just your standard, you know, skateboarding or snowboarding. It looks like a film, and it's shot like a film. And yeah, there's guys like Spike Jonze. He started out by making skate videos, so those kind of guys, they inspire me.
I think I saw something on cable. It's called like ATL or something. It was a narrative. It had a storyline to it, and it was about like a kid who's like trying to get his skateboarding career going, and there's like a really famous skateboarder. Maybe was it Bam from Jackass or something? I'm trying to put this together in my mind, but I thought maybe you're familiar with it. But
I haven't heard of that, no. But
yeah, well, there's definitely been some movies that have been about extreme sports, and in Providence, a while back, there was like the Avon Cinema on Thayer Street, rented out the place for a night for this touring film of like extreme sports. It was just this,
Oh, really?
I've never experienced anything like that. And when, you know, they just had like all these, I think it was like a 3D experience, you know, also, but I'm just kind of interested in that aspect of what you're interested in. And maybe there's something you can do as far as putting together a narrative film or even a documentary about those extreme sports that you find interesting.
yeah, I've actually, I've had ideas for documentaries. One that I'm actually starting to script out and think of one. It's kind of more Rhode Island centric, about the history of skating in Rhode Island, because we used to have the gravity games. There used to be a bigger presence in Rhode Island, and then it kind of shrunk. And now it's starting to grow again. So I thought that would be a pretty interesting storyline. But that's really something I'm into, is bringing more narrative into action sports, because like, you see a lot of the standard videos where, you know, it's cool to highlight the tricks and the people and the spots, but you know, I like to mix that with cinematography and storytelling, and I think that's something that's lacking right now, and that could be an area, you know, that's good to pursue.
I think that's really cool, and I think just these little tidbits of information are coming into my brain as we're talking about it. Wasn't that whole, you know, Andre the Giant has a posse and Obey, wasn't that generated from a guy who maybe went to RISD and was involved in the skateboarding culture, the graffiti culture?
Yeah, I believe he was a skateboarder,
Yeah.
They just started sticking those stickers all over the city, and it caught on.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
And that was a while ago, so a guy like yourself and your team of filmmakers and actors maybe pulled that off, you know?
Yeah, that's true. I'd never thought of that. That's a good idea to pursue, actually.
Well, just give me a marketing consultation.
Yeah,
Percentage,
there
you
you
guys
go.
make it big. And we were talking right before the show started, you and your team, certain members of your group are going out to Los Angeles to kind of relocate kind of the core foundation of your team, and en route across the country, what do you got planned as far as publicity? I found that very interesting.
We're going to take about a 2-week road trip through the South. We're going to hit like Louisiana, New Orleans, Texas, and then we're actually going to swing up to Denver. But along the way, we're just going to try to network. We actually submitted to a few festivals that kind of align with our trip. We're just going to hand out flyers, stickers, try to get our name out there all across the country, because I feel like, you know, the internet marketing, it's a great tool for us, but I feel like it's so common now that when you do take the grassroots approach, when you do take an old school method of just physically talking to people and handing it out, it kind of stands out from the crowd a little bit, and I think a lot of people appreciate that. So hopefully, you know, getting face to face with a lot of people all over the country is going to help us a lot, especially when we get to LA. 'Cause,
That's great.
yeah.
You know, and back in the old days, you know, my grandfather tells me that they used to actually put flyers on staples on telephone poles, and now it's just like, check my Facebook thing. And
Yeah.
what if I don't want to check my Facebook thing? You know what I mean? But you
Yeah.
guys are doing like you said, like the old school, like actually going to these southern states and, you know, handing out some information, or maybe, I don't know what you guys are going to do, but maybe you can book some of these events, like open mic nights, or like book,
Yeah.
you know, you guys coming into town and like doing some crazy event, you know, just to get a buzz going.
Yeah, we've been looking into that. You know, Brandon Allen is a good comedian, so he's looking into doing stand-up along the way. We're looking into, we go to that Rhodey Wood critique night. We're looking into things like that, you know, just small places we can show our films and network. And yeah, we're going to be doing a little bit of both, a little of the old school marketing, a little bit of new school, because we'll be Snapchatting, Instagramming, and we plan on filming a lot of it, trying to make a little blog out of it. So yeah, it should be pretty good.
Now, going back a little bit into your history, we're talking off the air again, but is there filmmakers or actors that you personally find inspiration from, like someone whose career path or the content of their work, whether Quentin Tarantino as a director or such and such as an actor, or anyone like that kind of inspires or influences you, Chris?
Yeah, I'm a big Steven Spielberg guy. Growing up as a kid, I just always loved his movies. Jurassic Park. I love dinosaurs, Indiana Jones, all of that. But I went to this filmmaking class run by Vincent LaFerre in Boston, and he's a big Spielberg guy too. And he really broke down camera movement. And I guess Spielberg was one of the pioneers of using a camera to create a mood and to work with the environment, to tell a story visually as well as obviously the dialogue and the narrative. But that really spoke to me. And after that, I went back and looked at a lot of his films, and it's just amazing, how subconsciously the movement of a camera can make you feel something or push the story in a certain way.
That's a great point, because a lot of people don't think that way, especially, for myself. I really like writing dialogue for myself, and for the characters, but at some point you got to realize, and it took me years to realize that, film is a visual medium, and so you can't just have the witty repartee, although that's great, the insightful dialogue, a la whoever, David Mamet, whatever you want to say, but at some point the visual chemistry has to come into that movie as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's a good mix of both. Obviously, you have to have a great story. You have to have great writing, dialogue. But yeah, I think if you have a great story with visuals that aren't appealing, people might lose interest. Or if you have great visuals and a story that's just not hitting the mark, people will lose interest. So it's definitely a delicate balance of both.
Now, are you pretty much the go-to director for your group at this point?
Yeah, there's two of us. There's me and Chris Machado, and we're just both constantly trying to push out work. But yeah, I'm the one that pretty much does all of the bigger films. I film a lot of the skits. Yeah, it was kind of my idea to start Lift Entertainment, so I just have been going for it nonstop ever since.
Now, with the Lift Entertainment, you're more or less directing your friends, guys that you hang out with, and you guys do things together, and you support each other with the events at, like we've been saying, Rodywood Studios, Brooklyn Coffee and Tea House, the Short Film Critique Night, which I host the first Thursday of every month, blah, blah, blah. But basically what I'm getting at is you're kind of the director of your friends. So I'm just kind of fascinated by that, because is there a point where like you got your buddies in this movie or this skit, and then you gotta like bring the hammer down, like, hey guys, time to put the chuckles aside, because we need to put the chuckles on tape. We can't be goofing around off camera. Is there any scenarios that you can tell me about that maybe you did have to play bad cop a little bit?
Yeah, it's funny you mention that, because that does happen. It's always delicate working with your friends, but what me and Brandon try to really crack down on is that, yeah, we are friends and we're doing this as friends, but we take it as a business, and business, there's no room for that. You have to be hard on anybody, even your friends, and it's, we're all working towards the same purpose, to grow our business, to grow Lift Entertainment, to grow ourselves as, actors, filmmakers, whatever it may be. But yeah, there are a few times where we find people goofing off, or they take advantage of us being friendly with them. But yeah, we speak our mind. We're very open about it, and everyone respects that. So there's never been any weird, awkward tensions after it. They just kind of realize, okay, yeah, he's right. we need to get focused.
Nice, that's great. And moving forward into summer of 2016, tell me about some of the projects that you guys are going to do, in Rhode Island before you head off to Los Angeles. Yeah,
well, we have one called Phase 1. It's in post-production right now. We filmed that over last summer, so that should be coming out in the next few months. We have actually my first film that I've written. Until now, I've done 4 short films with Brandon, but he's been the writer. And it's exciting. This is going to be my first script that I've written, and we plan on shooting that around June, July. And I have a great location in mind. Hopefully it all works out. It's kind of a heist film, so it's going to be a little bit of a challenge to make a non-budget heist film look good. But like I said, I love taking on challenges, so there's that. And we have Case Closed, which is a web series that we've been doing that we got great feedback on. We might do a season 2 in the summer. We've also been toying with the idea of John Markson and Mark Johnson, which are the two detectives in Case Closed, go across country. So while we're across country filming little skits of them, so we have a few ideas, and we like to stay busy, we like to keep working.
I think that's a great idea, taking your two characters from New England, Mark Johnson and John Markson. I think that's great, and I've seen Case Closed several times. It's like, Case Closed, like, people need to check this out, and go to YouTube or Google Case Closed, and I think they'll find it, right?
Yeah. liftri.com or Lift Entertainment on any social media, Lift Entertainment 401 at Gmail, or like you said, me, Brandon, anybody, just go on our Facebooks, you'll find it. We're always promoting our stuff, so
not hard to find.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
I think what's cool about Case Closed, I was saying to Brandon on his episode of Messier Mantra, was you guys kind of took those perfect buddy cop things, Lethal Weapon, or was it Chris Tucker, and so on and so forth, and you kind of turned them inside out a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, we just we wanted to spoof on the whole reality TV aspect of it and make it known that it was supposed to be reality. We have it like boom mic sticking in the shot at some points, just a really cheesy intro. The intro is supposed to be like they produced it. So like Mark Johnson and John Markson paid, I don't know, probably like $50 to some cheesy production company and made this intro. So it was supposed to just be a spoof. We were just having fun. A lot of it was improv. But yeah, it's great that you mentioned that, because that's stuff that we don't even think of when we're writing it, but afterwards it's kind of like, oh yeah, that's true.
I think it'd be great if you guys do that, cross country, for whatever reason, I want to say balderdash, or something like some type of crazy tour, where you're just like, we're taking Case Closed to the streets and we're going to the South with Case Closed, and have the two characters in character in like their uniforms, coming into Topeka, Kansas, and it's like Case Closed Topeka, Case Closed Memphis, Burke, Virginia, where I once lived, all types of little places.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That would be pretty good.
Yeah. Well, it all kind of depends on if one of our co-stars comes with us or not. So Mitch, if you're watching this, the pressure's on you.
Well, Mitch, you can always be replaced, But I mean, I think Mitch will pull through for you, and hopefully. And
I hope so.
It's a tough business, isn't it? Because like, hey, we can't, Mitch, if you're out there, I mean, you got to come along, because you're Case Closed, man.
Yeah, he's one of the co-stars. He's a lovable drunk, so.
That's great, man. So tell me, every episode we ask our guests, what is a mantra? What's about your life, a philosophy, or psychology even, or something about life, your career, your work, something you might say to yourself, or maybe you've read a quote somewhere. Is there anything like that for you? Yeah,
I'd say with like filmmaking specifically, I'm a big fan of Film Riot. Ryan Connolly, his motto is shoot, edit, repeat. Mm-hmm. So that just kind of speaks to me. It's just, keep working, keep doing it. Don't let anything hold you back. You can make 1,000 excuses of why you shouldn't do something, but just go out there and do it, and you'll learn more from your mistakes than you will by waiting and just hoping for the best. So I really like that, and we've had a little bit of a hard time with Fly Hard and film festivals, but that's not stopping us. It's not slowing us down. If anything, it's more motivation. So I just try to just keep going. I know my goal. I have a very burning passion for filmmaking, and I just want it to happen regardless, no matter what. So I'm just going to keep working towards that.
That's awesome, Chris. And we talked about some of your background and history, and you spent some time in New England Tech, which is in Warwick, Rhode Island at this point. You want to tell me about your experiences there as a film student?
Oh, that was great for me. I loved it there. I'm a big hands-on learner, and that's exactly what it was. We got to go in a studio actually quite like this and work on industry equipment and get our hands dirty. And before that, I was kind of toying with the idea of becoming, because it is a competitive industry. My parents, were a little iffy about it, but I was thinking of going for something normal like accounting or just getting my gen eds. And then after a semester, I decided, no, I just want to go for it. And so I went to New England Tech. It was a great choice, and I learned a lot. That was a great jumping off point. And since then, I've just been trying to learn independently on my own.
That's great.
Yeah.
Have you collaborated with other local filmmakers, or pretty much sticking with your own company?
Yeah, I've collaborated. We go to that Roadiewood critique night. Every time we see something that we like, every time we see someone that's putting in a lot of work and has a passion for it, we try to link up with them, try to collaborate as much as possible, because filmmaking is a huge collaboration. So we try to just work with as many people as possible, get our names out there.
I like what you just said, because a lot of people, even myself, have fallen guilty of this. Is like, I'm an auteur, and I'm going to, show up and just, zoom in on whatever I like, the close up of the lips, and then like, an eyeball with a fork in it, or some French New Age or whatever it is, But what you're saying about the collaborative effort, and especially yourself, working with, more or less low budget or no budget, and you're getting your guys together, your team, and as the director, I do find that an interesting niche of like, you're basically the leader of this group, but at the same time, everybody's coming together. You want to talk about the dynamic of that a little bit?
Yeah, a lot of the guys are just willing to step it up. Like, we have a few guys who really want to be actors, but they're also willing to jump behind the camera, hold a boom mic, or do whatever it takes to get the production done. So we do have a great group of really talented and passionate people. But yeah, I've noticed too, when me and Brandon first started, it was pretty much just us. It was like a two-man team. And as we've been growing, we've been adding people to our crew, people to help out, and our productions have been getting better because of that. I think the more hands on something, the better it will be. The more different opinions you can have. So I just really think that working with a good amount of people is just the way to go. You can't do everything by yourself.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's interesting to me because at some point I would speculate, maybe this hasn't been for your group, but there can be, though, too many people. You start getting to, now we got 9, 10, 12, 15 people, and how many boom mic operators do we need? How many, first ADs do we need? How many directors, writers do we need? And you start thinking like, maybe we should scale back at some point. Have you thought about that, or not quite with your group yet?
Not quite yet, because we don't have too many people right now.
Right.
But on the production that we plan on shooting this summer is going to be a little different. In the past, it's just kind of been whoever's on set helps with whatever position needs to be filled. I'm kind of looking to fill more of like, okay, you're an audio guy, this is what you want to do, this is your passion, so jump on audio. I want everyone there to have a position and to really enjoy what they're doing, not just do it because they're not doing anything at the time. So we are looking for other crew members. If anyone wants to help out, we could use any help we can get.
Great. And what website should they go to reach you?
Well, we have liftri.com, which is for Lift Entertainment. That is our group. That's kind of a personal thing. We're just doing it for fun. This is just our passion project. And then I also have a website, chriscostamedia.com, and that's where you'll find more of my professional work, more of the work I've done with clients. I would send, if a business came to me and wanted me to produce a commercial for them, that's the site I would send them to. Because we have some pretty off-the-wall stuff on Lift Entertainment. So.
Well, that's smart, because you want to split your, work for hire, so to speak, with your creative endeavors. And
right.
Going back to the creative endeavors, what is the toughest part of what you're doing?
Well, I mean, coming up with the idea is always a hard thing, but I think where we've been struggling the most is just getting it out there, getting promotion, because we do what we can, but it's only gotten us so far, and it's kind of stagnant. So we're just kind of looking what can we do to push ourselves to the next level to get this in front of as many eyes as possible, because we think we have great quality work. We just have to get more people to see it. So, for me personally, I think that's the hardest part. I don't have a background in marketing or promotion or anything like that, so I think that's kind of where we're falling short. But
it was a very honest answer, because I think that's a great answer, because maybe someone's out there watching the Mantra, whether it's on our Vimeo or in Rhode Island, and especially in Seekonk, Massachusetts, our home base, and maybe say, hey, I want to help out Chris Costa and Lift RI Entertainment and Brandon Allen and get in the mix, because you never know. There might be someone who's out there who is a marketing person, and they might have the time and the effort. Like, hey, I like these guys. These guys are pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be great. And as far as like our family and friends go, social media is so simple now. All it takes is a couple seconds to share a post, and that helps tremendously. And if we could get as much support as we can doing that too, that'd be great. But yeah, like you said, could really use someone who's a marketer, someone who has promotion background, and that would help us out a lot. But
kind of give Lift RI a lift itself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Nice. 5 years from now, what do you see yourself doing? What's going to happen in 5 years for Chris Costa?
Well, I have so many different avenues that I would be happy with. As long as it's in filmmaking or video production, as long as I'm doing what I want to do, then I'm happy. Because like we've talked about earlier, skateboarding is an option, it being in the skate industry, filmmaking. I love traveling, so if I could do something like, you know, Discovery Channel, Travel Channel, I would love to do that. So as long as I'm happy doing what I'm doing and I'm behind the lens, I love making things. I love creating videos and content. That's
awesome, Chris. You got a perfect attitude. We got about 2.5 minutes left, so now I want to say, okay, we did the 5-year thing. I want to skip the 10, 20, 30. There's going to come a day, me and you and everyone else, you know, will be gone, dead, essentially. So there's like an obituary. I'm getting pretty dark here. For some reason, the black and white shirt maybe, but so the obit on the Chris Costa says he did what while he was on this earth?
Just put a lot of passion into what he does. I don't know, always trying to get better. I'm my own worst critic, so when I watch my own film, I pick up on a lot of little things, and I just try to, you know, tighten it up as much as possible. So I just take a great amount of pride in what I do, and you know, I hope just people will remember me for that.
That's great. Yeah. Just taking pride, and Chris took pride in his work, and you know, wherever that goes to, whether it's an award or a foundation in Los Angeles, wherever it might be, a great film that you made about extreme sports, whatever direction it takes you, you've made a great statement here that you want to just have pride in your work and do quality things.
Yeah.
That's really cool. That's really cool.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We got about a minute left. Anything you want to say to the Messier Mantra audience as a final kind of thought?
Yeah, we're like, as far as Lift Entertainment goes, we're always looking for help, always looking for actors, actresses. So if you're willing to, you know, improv a little, get a little crazy sometimes, just contact us through liftri.com, Chris Costa Media for any professional work you might need. And yeah, just keep pushing. Don't let anything slow you down or stop you. There's, you know, like I said, a million excuses you can make not to make something, but just go out there and do it. And if it's not the masterpiece you have in mind, then you're going to be at least one step closer to working towards that. So I feel just getting out there, getting your hands dirty is the best way to improve.
Well, Chris, I really want to thank you for coming on the show. And well, you just say get your hands dirty, but we'll shake hands anyway, man.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Chris Costa. Thanks for watching this episode of Messier Mantra. We've had a great episode here with Chris Costa talking about Lift RI Entertainment. We want to thank you for watching Messier Mantra. Hope to see you again on Messier Mantra.